Money. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. All right, man. You know the deal. MIC Podcast episode 186. Man, we're getting up there, man, where everyone is a master of their own creation. The finance talk continues. These last two guests that we have are again just going into financial principles, financial I don't say details because again they are not. This is not financial advice as we learned from our last episode, but we have here today just another great, incredible financial counselor. We have Jennifer Nanji in the building. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming through, taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Just to even kind of give a little background, we met at the panel that you participated in at the Pop District, and
Yes.
shout out to the Pop District, man. Like I'm even coming off just another panel that they did that that was super dope. The one that we met at was incredible. Just like an incredible panel of people, super good information that was just like discussed, and the questions that were asked were really insightful by the audience. So shout out to the Pop District for putting that on. But how has life been for you? Like how have you been since that? And like just what you been getting into?
I've been good. I'm just financial counseling. That's
Yeah.
just I love what I do.
Just working.
And so just counseling.
Yeah, just working. Are you from Pittsburgh originally? Or?
I am, yes.
Okay, yeah. What part?
East Liberty.
Okay.
Lincoln Littleton to be specific.
Okay,
Yes.
got you. How's life for you in East Liberty growing up?
It was good. I grew up in the 80s in East Liberty.
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah,
I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah.
And 90s and
Probably looked a lot different than it does
it's a
now.
lot different.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a lot of gentrification.
Yeah. I was gonna say there wasn't a Chipotle there.
That's crazy. Yeah. That is us. But yeah, life was good. Growing up,
Yeah.
I have two brothers and one sister.
Okay.
I'm the youngest of four.
Oh wow. Okay.
And my
Okay.
parents had us back to back, so we're like steps.
Wow.
I was one, my brother was two, my other brother was three, and my sister was four at one
Yeah.
time.
Right.
So we were very close
Yeah.
growing up. And my parents definitely, because of the area we're from, I mean, it was a working class area at that time. And our parents definitely kept us busy,
Sure.
kept us structured.
Yeah.
And we're all doing very well now. We all have college degrees.
God bless
One
you.
brother has a doctorate in engineering.
That's crazy. Okay.
So my parents really instilled in us the importance of education, the importance of, you belong anywhere you go.
There you go.
There's no place that you don't belong.
Nice.
So those things really instilled in us as adults, and we're doing that with our children as well.
Nice. Yeah. Rightfully so. And just speaking of that education, I know you got your BA in economics. So
Yes.
was the financial economics world always appealing to you? Like, were there any interests that you had just even prior to that, or making that decision to a major in that?
Yeah, so I graduated from HBCU, North Carolina A&T State University, Aggie Pride. Just got to say that.
Yeah.
But when I actually started off at University of Maryland.
Get out of here, for real. Okay.
Park.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
But it was just too big for me. There was about 35,000 students there.
Yeah.
And I just didn't feel like, I just felt like a number. I didn't feel like a student.
Interesting.
I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to school, like sitting in front of the class. But I had some classes that there was 100 people.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And I would get lost in the mix, honestly.
Sure.
So I decided, I'm going to transfer. I need to go to a smaller campus. So I already had my best friend there.
Yeah.
My brother was there. And I had some friends that I already knew at A&T. So it was an easy transition to transfer there. Going into my junior year.
Nice. Okay.
So at Maryland, my major was actually sociology.
Okay.
When I started at A&T, I was sociology, but then I took an economics course and I fell in love with it.
Really? What about it?
Just the logic. It was just logical.
It made sense.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, right.
The graphs and just
okay.
Supply and demand, all those things. I loved it. A lot of people didn't like economics.
I had to take econ twice. I'm just gonna so I'm just gonna put that out there. Yeah.
But it really stuck with me, and I really got it, the logic of it. So I changed my major. I had to stay an extra semester, which was fine with me.
Okay.
And graduated magna cum laude.
Nice. There you go. Yeah, please.
But I worked really hard. So, But yeah, as far as economics, when I graduated, I came back to Pittsburgh
Okay.
and I could not find a job. So I decided actually I went into education.
Okay.
Did AmeriCorps and I taught GED right at the Hill House.
Okay.
I taught there. I did my 1 year of AmeriCorps service and I fell in love with teaching.
Nice.
So I decided to go into teaching. I started off as just like being like a teacher's assistant. And then I said, you know what, I want to be a classroom teacher. So I went back and got my master's in education.
From where at?
So I did online.
Okay.
It was easier because my kids were.
I mean,
I had like a 1 and 2 year old or 2 or 3 at that.
Whatever
time.
works.
So it worked for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whatever works.
Now this was like the early 2000s, so this is like really new with online learning.
Yeah, right.
It was really convenient for me because I was still working 40 hours a week.
Of course, right.
And
take care of your child.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, right.
So, that really really got me I got into education.
Yeah.
And I taught GED, I taught but my master's was in elementary education.
Okay.
So I did elementary education.
Right.
And in 2015 I don't want to say I got burnt out, but I did.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm it's not to obviously disparage teaching or anything like that, but it's just like you loved teaching, but it's just like that's where you were at. Like you just, I guess, just even in pursuing the degree, and like at the end of the day, it's just like you're just burnt on both ends. It's like has nothing to do with like your love for teaching. It's just like where you're at.
I was because I love teaching. I still
right here at the mic a little bit more.
I'm sorry.
Hey, no, you're fine.
I still do teach. Yeah. I tutor on the weekends.
Okay.
Elementary kids in reading. Yeah. So I still like that aspect of teaching, but it was
just like a career.
All the other things that came along with it. I love teaching kids. So.
Teaching is a lot. And like,
it is.
It's just like, teaching like, younger, people just like, kindergarten, I'm going to just say through by fourth grade, you're just like, okay, like you can like kind of, like kids have like a little bit more sense to them about like the fourth grade, but that K through 3 is just like
they're babies, a little bit, But I preferred like fourth and fifth grade. That was kind of like the older kids. They're not too old, but they're old enough to get it.
Yeah,
to exactly. Not like, can you tie my shoe?
Exactly.
I want my mommy.
Yeah.
So So that's so after getting out of teaching, I was like, okay, I still have that economics bachelor's. I want to go into finance, and I knew I wasn't going to. I already knew because of and God bless anyone who's taught for 20, 30, 40 years. I give it to them. My sister, she's been teaching since she graduated from Pitt, and she is she's going into like her 20-something years of teaching.
That's crazy, man.
And I give it to her. I said, I don't know how you do it, but more power to you. But, so I just decided to start working in banks.
Okay,
Started with banking, and I started at the bottom.
I was gonna say, why the finance industry? Just because, like, I mean, just like same thing as the economics. Like, it just kind of made sense to you, or like, what about the industry?
It was just finance. Period. Okay. It wasn't like, I want to work at a bank, but I just didn't know like where can I find my niche at like the lowest level to work my way up, level to work my way up. And I said, well, a bank might be easier. It's
a great hunch. It's a great hunch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I started off as a teller, worked there, worked for 2 years as a teller. Then I moved in the same bank. I moved into different positions. I worked with mortgages.
Nice.
I also worked with banking logistics. Okay. So after I was with that bank for 5 years, then that's when I started in 2020.
Oh yeah.
And at the Allegheny County Financial Empowerment Center.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Dope.
Been there ever since, and I love it.
Awesome. No, I mean that's thank you for just kind of detailing your journey just through there for us. But would you say that like your sense of finance was there before you started your career? Like did you have a good sense of finance prior to that?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, to be honest with you, my parents were great, and but they didn't teach us about finance. The only thing I remember my mom telling me about money is don't get a credit card. When I went to college, she said, don't get a credit card. That's all she said.
Yeah, that's so
She didn't say why, and she never had credit cards. But there are things that I did watch my mom do, like, balancing her checkbook. She was very good with that. She was really good with money.
Okay.
And I guess that was but there wasn't like something that like I was really good at with finance. I've
Sure.
learned a lot with this job.
Of course, yeah. I'm sure, just like
I
naturally.
definitely did.
Yeah.
And I love teaching my clients. Not only do we do financial counseling, but we do financial education or
Nice.
financial literacy
Nice.
for our clients, because a lot of people just don't know. And I tell clients, like, they say, I never learned about this as a child. And I say, you know what, I didn't either.
Yeah.
But I'm here for it. I'm here. Any questions you have?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just even like, kind of branching off that, like, when do you start instilling like financial principles to your kid? Like, how do you kind of sit them down and walk them through that?
Yeah, I think at an early age.
Yeah.
I mean, even elementary school, absolutely. One of the schools that I did work at, it was an entrepreneurship school, so they taught about like students would create their own company.
Interesting.
And we would use like fake money for students to purchase these products that other students made.
So was it almost like a trade school for business, kind of, or like?
I mean, it was just a regular elementary school, but at the end of the day, that's when we had our entrepreneurship hour.
Okay, got you. Okay,
They would split up into their into different classrooms, and then students will shop. They'll have a time where they were shop, or they'll have a time where they were sell.
Copy. Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, that can be instilled in kindergarten, maybe even younger. So, like I said, I didn't grow up with those those skills, but I think elementary, and just could be basic things. Like, working on, like, if you have an allowance, always teaching your kids how to put something aside, to save something. Even if they get $5, all right, well, you're going to put something aside. And I have my youngest is in 5th grade.
Okay. I was gonna say, do you do allowance or?
Yes, I do. Yeah. And, I have a bank. I don't want to give out any
Of course.
No, I was just going to say, like, I don't want to give out any like websites or apps or anything. I don't want to promote anything, but he has an app where I put money on it, and then he puts some money aside, and then he uses the rest, like, to, for his spending.
Yeah, right.
And, just teaching those aspects. His dad has him working on understanding credit. And we did this with our older kids too. Understanding credit reports. They did this before I even started at the financial empowerment center.
Okay.
His family, they just met every week, and they talked about, and they thought, of course, the kids thought it was so boring. But I said, I wish I learned these things.
I know. And it's like bridging that gap is tough, man. Because it's like, I can put myself in issues and be like, there's no way this knucklehead was sitting down, trying to soak that up. But it's just like, you don't realize until you're just at that point in life, like, yo, man. And like, that's when it's just going to hit him. And it's like, I just even appreciate them trying to, it's like no one is going to hold your hand through that at all.
Not at all. Not at all. So, we taught our kids at a young age that, and then even my son, my middle child, he just turned 19. He opened up an IRA.
Beautiful, man.
And
shout out. No, that's huge, man.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yes,
that's crazy.
And they have stocks. All of them, their dad has them, like, have stocks and things like that.
Yeah, right.
But as far as, I wish I would have started an IRA at 19. And he's putting money, and he listens. Like, he takes heed to what, we tell him.
Yeah.
So I told him to open up a high yield savings account.
Yeah.
Did that. Told him to get a secured credit card just to start, building credit.
Yeah.
And also open up the IRA. So, and he's building on it. So I'm proud of him.
Nah, I mean, doing an incredible job. And shout out to you just for, like, even, and, your husband for just even instilling those principles, man. Because, again, when he's 30 and he looks at that IRA account, he's going to be like, yo, thank
I know.
God,
I know. I
thank
wish I would
God.
have
done. Mike actually just even helped me open mine up like a month or two ago. So
good,
so
good. And it's never too late.
That's what I'm
Never
saying,
too late.
right?
Like,
but I'm just saying, like,
it's-
19. If I had, I mean, like, now I'd be like,
Yeah.
I couldn't retire, but like I'd be
You'll
smiling.
Be good.
Yeah,
you'd be good. You'd be good for retirement. Very comfortable.
Yeah,
for 40, even 40, 50.
So no, that's beautiful. So when you were even just like initially starting in your in your career, like How did you kind of get like did the bank help you kind of get your bearings to when you eventually became a counselor, or like how did you navigate that?
I would say not. Well, I mean, not really being a teller, but
Yeah.
when I was in mortgages and home
Okay,
loans,
yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
because I have a lot of clients who are like, I want to buy a home or I want to, get a home equity line of credit.
Yeah.
So I kind of have that background to explain to them how those work and just what the aspects of those are. So I did take some of that information from
Yeah, right.
working as a home equity. I guess I think it was called home equity loan specialist or something
Yeah,
like that.
right.
My title was. But
Okay,
yeah,
yeah. Do you think like just even kind of like a branch question, just like with housing and everything, like
yeah.
do you think people are putting that off just because of they just weren't properly preparing for that decision? Do you think like I guess just like the housing market isn't the best right now? Is like is a combination of both, or just like just from your perspective, what do you think?
I think that a lot of people now, I mean, everything is just so expensive. Even renting is
Found
is
that.
ridiculous. If you're looking for something more than one bedroom, or even one bedroom, even a
Yeah,
studio.
they like to get a little crazy on this
Yeah,
one bedroom
yeah.
prices.
I know.
Like,
It's crazy. So a lot of my clients may not be prepared for a home just yet.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just like, well, I want to have a home in 6 months. Like I had a client say that, and looking at
Home for
their
6 months.
a home in 6 months.
Okay, okay. I
So
was like, what's
I
a
wanna
home in 6 months? I'm
no.
like, they do that? Like,
Yeah. But looking at their credit and
Yeah.
just like their savings,
Yeah.
I had to be honest, like I don't think you're ready, but this isn't impossible, but it's not gonna happen in 6 months.
Yeah,
But
right.
let's work on some goals. What do we need to do to get to that? What do we need to do to improve your credit? What do we need to do to build your savings? Let's look at your budget.
Yeah.
Where's your money going?
Yeah. So, like, how do you think? Like, how does just like even as far as credit? I mean, we know how important that is. Like, if someone isn't doing so well credit wise, like, how do they even begin the journey of repairing
Yeah.
that? Because, like, I mean, I don't even know. Well, I mean, like, thankfully, my mother, she literally built my credit. You know what I mean? Just
Okay.
like
Was she were you like an authorized user?
Yeah, yeah,
Credit card?
yeah.
Okay.
So like just build my credit for me. And,
That's
like
excellent.
incredible. She's like
Yeah.
she's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Just for anyone again who because like not everyone has that privilege, and that's an absolute privilege,
Mm-hmm.
But like just if someone let's say like they were negligible about their credit and like
Okay.
and they kind of wake up one day and they're just like, oh man,
Yeah.
yeesh.
Yeah.
How do they like? What's the repairing journey like?
Well, first thing I always tell clients is that your credit isn't the end all be all of everything in your whole financial blueprint because your credit report doesn't include what you have in savings, how you budget. It doesn't include all those things.
Right.
So I always make them clear, like, I mean, credit is important, but it's not everything.
Yeah, right.
So I kind of want to make them, assure them that credit can change. It's not etched in stone.
Yeah.
So it might take some work and it might take some, it's going to take some time depending on what's on their credit report. But as far as them just like, if I look at their credit report, sometimes clients are like, I haven't looked at my credit report in years because I just don't, it's bad. I don't even want to look at it. So I'm like, well, we got to look at it.
Yeah.
You have to look at it. You have to know what's on there. And literally there are millions of credit reports with incorrect information. So you want to make sure everything that's being
as far as
reported,
what? Like
personal information, addresses, even things on your trade line, even things from creditors. There might be incorrect information as far as balances. There could be incorrect information as far as how old it is. Things are supposed to stay on your credit report for 7 years from when it closes.
Right.
Sometimes things might remain on there longer, but if you're not checking it, nobody else is going to care.
Right.
Nobody's going to say like, "Oh, this doesn't look right."
Exactly.
It's up to you to to deal with that.
Right.
So I always tell clients, we're going to look at your credit report. Let's look through it, and then we come up with like step-by-step procedures. It's not, and I always tell them it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
And just really good strategies. I don't really want to get because it all depends, but strategies of like, okay, which one do we need to attack first? Which one do we need to take up first? I can start off like you can start off with like a snowball, which is starting with maybe you have a balance that you owe that's low, and you start with the lower ones, or and you work your way up, or you start with avalanche where you work with a higher interest rate, the ones with the higher interest rates because you're paying more for that as well, and you can kind of work your way down that way.
Yeah, right.
So did that answer your question?
Yeah. No, for sure. But like, I was just curious because like I'm like again, I'm just every day I'm just like, yo, like if my mom didn't like, just even build my credit to this point, like,
Yeah.
obviously, the rest is up to
Right.
me, you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
just like, if I didn't have that bad, like, I don't know what,
Yeah.
because again, no one taught me, like, she just like, hey, she's like, knew credit was important. So she took the steps to be like, hey, like, this is your credit.
That's good.
Protect this, the like
Yes.
that was like the one piece she gave me. She's like, yo, this is like super important, like just protect it. But like, outside of that, like there really wasn't any financial
Okay.
conversation. Just like, just like, why is credit super
Yeah.
important? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize until I'm trying to rent an apartment and like,
Right.
buy my car and all that. I'm
Yeah.
just like, holy
Yeah.
smokes. And like, just by nature of like, like my 9 to 5, like I see how people, just like what not having good credit can do in those efforts. I'm just like,
Yes.
man, bro, like,
Yeah. So, and also like the most important things, like when it comes to your credit score, the biggest two things that make up 65% of your score is A, are you paying on time?
right.
And B, do you have high utilization, meaning high balances? High utilization is usually more than 30% of your credit limit. If you're above that, that can bring down your credit score. And especially if you're not paying on time, that, when that hits that 30 days, 60 days, that's when your credit score starts to plummet. So, just making sure like those two things, but there's other things like if you have like a mixture of different types of credit, as far as a car loan and a mortgage and a personal loan, that lets creditors know that you're able to balance different types of credit, because working on those, I mean, it does take it is a balancing act to take care of all of those. So if you just have like one thing on your credit report, I mean, sometimes people might be denied even if you're paying on time, but you might not have that much credit history. So history is another one as well.
Okay, nice. Was there like any, because like when you made the jump from banks into counseling, like what was that overwhelming for you at all, or like how did you initially kind of handle that?
No, because when I did start, when becoming a financial counselor, we did have to go through rigorous training.
Yeah, makes sense.
And we had to be, we're all national certified financial counselors. So we had to, study, read, take an exam, and then we recertify ourselves we have to recertify every 2 years. So then that's through like, learn different learning tools, as far as like trainings and things like that. I wanted to just jump back on one of the things when you asked about the credit. A good website that you can use to learn a lot about credit is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Okay.
That is a federal agency. Now, with the new administration, they may be getting rid of it, but right now it still exists.
Okay.
Hopefully, it will still remain. It's actually a website that really gives consumers information about all types of things when it comes to credit, budgeting, and then even what our rights are, because we do have rights as consumers.
Okay.
If you see something, if something is fraudulent, you can also, the Federal Trade Commission is another website that you can use to report any fraudulent behavior, or anything that's fraudulent happening against you. But those are really, I always share those resources with clients because they really break down like understanding your credit report, understanding budgeting, understanding what your rights are. Like if you have collection items and you're getting calls left and right all day from collection agencies, you do have a right to send a letter called a cease and desist, so they won't keep calling you.
Yeah, right.
And that doesn't mean that you don't owe it, but that means that they will stop calling you. And that's the law. Like if they do call you after you send them a letter, you could sue them. So consumers do have a lot of rights. A lot of people aren't aware of that because they'll just let the collection agency keep calling them.
What's the limit though? Like what's like the, I guess, because like I mean, like you can't just get the call once and then send the cease and desist. Like
it's usually when clients are just being harassed I don't want to say harassed, but called all day, and they're at work, and they're sometimes one time I had a client say somebody called them at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. They can't call past a certain time.
Okay, well yeah.
So
that, right.
but you can I believe you can send the letter anytime. I mean they'll still communicate with you. They'll just communicate to you through mail.
Okay.
So it's not like it's like, oh, okay, we're never going to contact you.
Right.
They just can't call you like that, because some of those collection agencies can be really ruthless and aggressive and say really I don't want to say harassment, but they can threaten you, and they're not allowed to do that. So the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, really gives people information about their rights. They give them sample letters that you can write to, these
Wow,
protection
that's
agencies.
crazy.
So definitely, if you ever have time to look at that website, do it. It's full of
Is
information.
that service free or like with?
Yeah, it's a government agency, so it's
Crazy.
all
Wow.
free. Yeah, go on the website.
Nice, incredible.
Yeah.
So like just with even your jump to financial counseling, like you're doing all this testing and whatnot. After you complete that, was there any mentors that you looked up to, just like within your industry, or just like was it kind of like all just self taught, or just like kind of self
Oh, definitely. Now we're a small team.
Yeah.
There's only 5 counselors.
Right,
So we're
okay.
really small. So we definitely share information, share our experiences. We meet a lot and talk about just information that we may have learned and share with each other.
Okay.
So, and sometimes, I'll have the counselor call me and ask me questions, or I'll call them and ask them questions. They might have more expertise. Like I know I said I was in mortgages, but I had
Yeah.
another client. I mean, there's another counselor that actually was a HUD certified counselor. So
Okay.
she knows all about like foreclosure. She was a foreclosure specialist. So
Okay.
a lot of us have a background in finance and a specific one. So we definitely can call each other, talk to each other. When we meet, kind of inform each other about different things and share ideas and things that we've learned.
Dope. Yeah. What made you go with could you say the name of your place of work again if you want to, or just like
Allegheny County Financial Empowerment Center.
What made you go with them?
To be honest with you, when I was looking for another job, I I just put my information out on Indeed.
Yeah.
Just be honest, and
Yeah.
they reached out to me actually.
Nice.
One of the managers, she reached out to me and asked me for an interview, and then, of course, learning about the company, I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Right.
I said, oh yeah, and then after speaking to her, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like, I hope I get this job. So yeah, and I lucked out.
Were some of like your first clients like, did you have to go out and get them, or like how did you?
No, the Financial Empowerment Center, the Financial Empowerment Center, just to kind of give you a little background,
Yeah.
it was started in New York City.
Okay.
And it was started by the mayor's office. This was, I can't even remember which mayor it was. This is like probably close to 10 years ago, and don't quote me.
Yeah.
But it was so basically the mayor's office wanted to give the people the citizens of New York City wanted to give them an opportunity to start saving and give them tools to learn how to start saving. So they started the Financial Empowerment Center, and it was so successful that they opened up other ones. So there's Allegheny County, there's one in pretty much all down the East Coast, FECs, and we meet every few years.
Oh,
cool. We just met in New York. Was that 2 years ago or a year ago? 2 years ago, and from all different walks. I mean, from all different states. We even have one in Hawaii.
That's fire. How was that?
It was great. It was nice, like working with the other FEC counselors, and we broke into groups and we mixed among each other. And
Hawaii may have to host that next one because they can't just keep being in Hawaii and not.
I know
we all gotta
I know that would be nice, but it's usually in New York.
Okay, right.
So it's kind of like the head.
It makes sense.
Yeah, but it would be nice to go.
Yeah. Y'all in Hawaii gotta open your doors, to your brothers and sisters.
Right.
Along the East Coast,
yes, yeah. So there's ones in Texas, Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. So Pittsburgh
everywhere.
was one of the first few. I can't remember which number it was, but we opened up in 2018.
Wow. Okay.
Or was it 2019?
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, we're
fairly new, but we've been very successful. If you ever go onto our website, we have, and I wish I had all the figures, but it's been, I think, so we like to give our numbers of how much money our clients have saved, how much money they have reduced, how much they have reduced in their debt, and we bring it all together. And this isn't just money that they're telling us that they reduced in their debt. This is coming from their credit reports.
Okay.
And I think it's in, I wish I should have looked up the numbers.
Yeah.
I think it's in the millions, how much money we
Team
have.
of 5 people, you said.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And
so we all love what we do. Yeah, we all love what we do, and we work hard.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What's it just like even seeing people get to that point where you're just like, yo, thank you for just, I just never thought I would even get to this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I've had clients, thank me. I had one client who was paying. Ooh, she was paying over like $1,200 in credit card payments. And so I told her about, why don't you get a debt manage? We're going to a debt management program. And so she went into one and she now pays like $300 a month.
Wow.
And they lowered her interest rate.
Beautiful.
So she was able to build her savings like crazy.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of her. And she was like, I wouldn't have known any of this without the FEC. So it feels really good to help people, because I mean everybody's going to have to deal with finances no matter. And we work with people. I've worked with people who make six figures. I work with people who are just on Social Security. So there's no limit.
Barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like and I asked Dave this like when he was on the pod, but just again from like your perspective, like as far as again, because like we were talking about just financial information, like is there like why doesn't it feel, let me just say, like as readily available? Like it just kind of feels like you have to do like past due diligence, like just like you have to kind of really know what you're looking for to find it. Like there's no just like um I don't know, just like kind of like universal resource, you know what I mean, just for like financial education,
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Like is that like I don't want to say it's a concerted effort, but it's just like like people just on like a general level aren't in tune of finance like that, like at least in depth, just like past knowing how to save money, perhaps it's like beyond like any fundamental things, you know what I mean?
I think a lot of times, and just working with clients, sometimes, I mean, not sometimes, a lot of times there's a lot of shame and
Right, yeah,
embarrassment
that's what they were saying. Yeah,
when it
right.
comes to your finances. So some people might know they need to work on some things, but because I'll have clients like, oh my gosh, like, please, like, don't judge me when you look at my credit report. It's horrible. I'm like, hey, we are a judgment free zone. I always tell clients like that. And I said, sometimes we've been there, done that, So I think making people feel comfortable talking about money. One of our little sayings is it's okay to talk about money.
Yeah, and like I remember you saying that at the panel.
Oh,
just
did I
like
say
yeah, well, no, like I understand. Like I agree with
Yeah.
that so much. You just like just like make it a comfortable thing to talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah, you do. You want to make it comfortable. And I think I definitely make my clients feel comfortable.
That's beautiful.
And sometimes I might even share stories about my financial struggles and
Yeah,
things
of
that
course.
mistakes that I made. Like when I went to college, I got remember I told you my mom said don't get a credit card.
Yeah, right.
Do you think I listened? No, I got 3 credit cards my freshman year, like all in the same day. They're throwing out T-shirts and they're like, "Oh, free T-shirt." I'm like, "I'll take it. All you gotta do is sign up for this."
Yeah,
I
by
didn't
the
know what it
way,
was
ruin
doing.
your credit real quick. Yeah.
Right. And thank goodness to President Obama, he stopped that, because he stopped.
Yeah, that's so predatory. Yeah,
These
right.
credit card companies paying these college campuses
Crazy.
money to come on these campuses and give these 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-olds credit cards, and they have no idea what
On
they're
top of the debt they just put themselves in for going to college.
For going to college, yeah, it's crazy. So
Nah.
I'm glad there was a stop put to that.
Yeah,
I
'cause
wish it was when I was there,
Yeah,
but yeah,
they just caught it too late. It's like damn.
way too late. Yeah. So yeah, and I think a lot of families don't talk. Some do, like
Yeah,
some do,
sure.
but some families don't.
I agree.
Like to me, I think my parents might have thought like that's grown folk business. Like
Yeah,
that's
right.
you don't need to concern about what bills I have and,
Yeah, exactly.
and money and things like that.
Yeah.
So and there is definitely with myself, there is like certain restraints. Like my son asked me how much I make, and I'm like.
Get out of here.
And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you how much I make.
Told you that.
Yeah, I'll tell him little things like that you don't need to know.
Yeah,
But saving and things about general things about finance and what we're going to do with your money. That's what we'll talk about. But yeah. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. So like, just like, what were some of the excuse me, like financial principles just by nature of your job that you just maybe applied or just like like learned in just as far as just your financial life or like a financial journey, like was there any principles that you applied just like
oh my gosh,
by nature of your
a
work?
lot. Definitely student loans.
Yeah.
We had, well, she's not with us anymore, but we had a counselor. She was like the student loan guru, and she taught me so much about student loans. And I take it for myself because I have student loans.
Yeah.
And then I also share with my clients too. And I have lots of clients that have federal student loans, and just understanding and just the changes that are happening now. I was working with a client today and just telling him about the changes in the student loans now and things that he
I thought
needs
like
to
student loans were supposed to be forgiven, like,
that was that was from Biden,
yeah,
President
right,
Biden, but that was not passed in Congress. So it was kicked to the
yeah,
curb
yeah,
basically.
that sucks.
He tried to introduce it, but it just didn't pass
Yeah,
through.
what
So
are you gonna do?
yeah,
Yeah,
so and it was going to be $20,000. But there are other programs that I know the new administration is going to keep, which is the public service loan forgiveness, and that's for people who work like as teachers, work in the health field,
okay,
work in even nonprofits like I do.
yeah.
So I am in the financial. I mean, I am in the public service loan forgiveness. So I'm glad they kept that, but there's some other things that they're getting rid of.
And just like what is like? Do you think like not enough people have wills, life insurance, like are even thinking in that regard from your perspective, or
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
yeah? Do you think people are like that like people that enough people have like wills and
No.
life insurance and like they're prepared?
Maybe life insurance,
Yeah,
but
right.
wills, no.
Mm.
So that's what we're trying to incorporate now is understanding that you need a will,
So a
period.
will just states like who gets what pretty much, as opposed to like
Pretty
which
much.
is just like a sum of money that I guess can also be distributed to whoever you designate or
So yeah, a will include like designating things to people like your pets, your children. I can't get too much into
yeah of the
because I'm
right
not a lawyer and I
sure sure sure
but
sure
but yeah, and
okay
then there's also trust, but I don't want to get into that. I don't
yeah
know why I
yeah
even brought that up.
yeah no worries
But yeah, wills are really important, and yeah, just where are your things going to go if something
yeah
happens to you?
right
Do you have a power of attorney? Do you
yeah
have someone that's going to make medical decisions for you? So
yeah
those are
yeah
also things that come along with financial
all that good
counseling.
stuff. And you kind of gave us the like the pillars that you guys work with, but just like on like from your standpoint, and you can obviously go into as much or as little detail as you want about this, but just like your general approach to financial counseling, like how do you approach it?
Like when with a client.
Yeah, with a client.
Um, so I mean, every person's
It's different.
different.
It's gonna be case by
So
case.
it's
I'm just
not,
saying.
yeah. So there's not like, okay, I'm going to say this. But I think being able to have a good rapport with
Right.
clients is important, like building that rapport, making them comfortable to talk with
Right.
you. But, you know, I try to, when I tell them all the pillars of what what we offer, they already tell me what the things that they want to work on, but sometimes there might be some other things that they end up needing to work
Yeah.
on.
Right.
But I think first is just like first and foremost is just building a rapport with them and letting them feel comfortable talking about their finances and yeah.
They were saying that like choosing who you go to for financial advice or just like financial counseling is almost like choosing a therapist. Like would you say the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, like that one therapist might not be good. What one therapist can do might not be able to do for another person. So, it might, and when we work with clients, not that this happens all the time, but sometimes it might not be a good fit. Maybe
Yeah.
it might be a
Right.
better fit with another counselor. I mean, that has happened. It doesn't happen too much, but
Right.
it does happen.
When you see like not a good fit, what is the disconnect? Do you think
Um,
just from like what you've seen? Like as you guys.
yeah, that's a good question because I don't want to say like age or race because that
Yeah.
really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
You just feel it though.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
and it's not on our end. Usually, it's usually
Right.
on the client's
Yeah.
end,
Right.
where they just maybe want to work with a different. But again, that's very few and far between that happens. Usually, the client that we're linked with is they work with us.
100%.
They're fine with working with us, but
So
hiccups every now.
yeah. So from your perspective, like what are just financial steps or just like principles everyone could take like without like the need for like financial counseling or financial advisor or anything like that.
First and foremost, I always tell clients if you're not already doing this, you need to track your spending. You
Yeah.
need to know where your money's going. How are you going to be able to save? How are you going to be able to fix your credit if you need to pay down things if you don't know where your money's going. And I have a lot of clients who may have never tracked their spending before, and they're like, I didn't realize I was spending $200 on eating out.
Yeah.
I thought I was spending $50, things like that. So I think like that is the first step in anything, is tracking your spending and seeing where your things are going for those 30 days.
So and is that just like the main one that you would say, was just like pretty much tracking?
No, I mean, I would say like number one. I would say yes, that's the main
It
one.
makes sense. Yeah, right.
You can't do anything else without that. Like if you want to buy a house, if you don't know where your money's going and you're trying to save for things, you have to know where your money's going. So I would say that. I mean, credit is another thing. But like I said, that's not the whole thing, like, of your financial.
Just
the budgeting is really important.
Yeah, I agree.
Not budgeting, but seeing where your money's going, and then creating a budget,
right,
like and sticking to it,
right,
and continuing to track your spending. So you just don't want to track for 30 days and like, okay, I know where my money's going.
Yeah,
you got to do this month to month.
Right.
So it can be tedious, but it's worth it. It definitely is worth it, and it's something that all of us need to do.
Like I've heard Excel spreadsheets can be very helpful in that regard. Like, is there any way to like that you have heard helps?
Yeah, so when I talk to clients about tracking their spending, I tell them different ways that they can, and I say you have to do what works for you.
Yeah.
So I have, there's apps out there that you can connect to your checking account that can do it for you automatically.
Yep.
There's a lot of banks out there that do tracking as well, for you. The only downset for that is that with tracking with an app, sometimes those categories can be very vague.
Yeah.
What they put them into is like, for example, if you went to Target but you bought food, it might go under like health and beauty
or like entertainment.
Right. So it might not always be categorized correctly. And I have a lot of clients like, I tracked my spending using the app, but it put it into some certain things into
wonky stuff.
spaces.
Yeah, right.
So sometimes we can just iron that out and see where, put it in the correct category. But so apps, you can also write it down. Some people just get a notebook and write down their expenses. Also, you can, what I like to use, and a lot of my clients use, is a spreadsheet, like you said.
Yep.
We have a spreadsheet, and then also an organizer where you can get that from Target.
Like a hard copy organizer, like something on.
Yeah, like a hard copy organizer. I'm sure they probably have them online too, virtually. Right. But
writing down stuff helps though.
It does, and I think writing down like really lets you know, like, okay, I spent this amount. I spent this amount. So, sometimes doing it that way can be helpful. But I always say, and sometimes you might try one way and it might not work for you, and that's okay. Let's go back to the drawing board and figure out what could be a better way for you to track. And I say, as long as you're able to track your spending, I don't care how you track.
Just
as long as you're able to capture every expense, that's what matters.
Cool. And touched on, investing earlier, again, teaching your kids and all that stuff, but I know that world just generally can seem, very, very overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Like is there, just any way to kind of like consolidate that entry point, or just like, just let people know like it's not as overwhelming as it may seem?
Is tracking?
No, investing. I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, just like,
So financial counselors, we aren't financial advisors.
It's not financial advice.
Yeah, so we can't give out, like, we don't talk about investments. However, I do give clients resources they can use. Maybe start off with your, the bank that you already have, and see what type of investment accounts you can talk to someone there. But yeah, we can't, and it says it like in our rules, like we can't talk about investments.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So but I give them the resources, and I give them some, places to look at, when it comes to investments. But as far as like advice, we can't give.
Yeah. No. 100%.
And I'm not an expert in the investment, to be honest.
Fair enough. No worries.
Then counseling, I am.
Yeah. And then again, just touched on it earlier as well, the student that I think that's something that everyone has dealt with, is dealing with on some level.
Mm-hmm.
And I can imagine it just kind of makes you feel financially like pigeonholed, like can't even really make any moves. Again, just like even trying to plan for buying a house, just like like kind of like long-term financial goals, like when approaching student debt, kind of what is some of the things that people can do to maybe not necessarily feel that way all the time? Because like I know like they're looking at again astronomical numbers,
Yeah.
like some people. So
Yeah. So, I mean, when it comes to student loans, you do have, they're going to, if it's on your credit report and you have student loans are $100,000 or $80,000, that is part of your debt. I mean,
right,
there's no way of getting around that.
right,
And that's going to affect your debt to income ratio. So now, as far as like repayments and things like that, just introducing clients into different payment options, especially if they have federal student loans. There's a lot more options of repayment that they can have as opposed to private student loans. I mean, you can refinance a, a private student loan to get a lower rate. That's what a lot of people do when they do have the
private
private.
student loans.
Hmm.
What like because like I'm not necessarily
Oh,
familiar with that. Like
okay.
what is a private student loan?
So private student loans are just loans for that are from like banks. And it's
Okay, got
directly
you, got you,
from
got
the
you.
bank, but
Okay,
it's called a student loan, but it's directly from the bank
copy.
instead of from the government.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah. So some people maybe they exceeded all of their money from their federal student aid, and they might have to get a private loan
No,
to cover that. And that happens a lot.
no.
Yeah, because there is a limit to what you can get for student loans from the federal
But
student
that
loan.
like that dance is so like
Yeah.
that's just messed up, man.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's some other alternatives like parents can get the Parent Plus loan, which is a federal loan that,
Yeah.
if their parents can't do that or won't do that, then sometimes they have to
Yeah.
resort to the private loans. And those don't have the same like payment options as like federal student loans where you can get, economic hardship or you can get, well, I know things are changing now, so I don't know what things are going to be like in the future, but, economic hardship, unemployment. I think unemployment might be ending for federal loans. I can't remember. I
Okay.
think I heard that. Even the income driven repayment plan where your your payments are based on your income independence. A lot of those private loans don't have those options. They're just like, we want our money. Like this is the interest rate, give us our money. They might have like that 6-month grace period that all student loans get, after you graduate. But after that, you better start paying. Yeah. So if you can avoid private loans, please do. Scholarships are, definitely a plus to have. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a shame with these private loans that people have and now have those great payment options like the federal loans do.
So like how do just if you are, someone that's dealing with, student loan debt,
Mhm.
like how do you frame planning for buying a house, like just for some of these like life milestones, like it just like I can imagine it just kind of feels constricting.
Yeah, and it can be because, yeah, like when you are looking for a loan, they're going to look at your debt to income ratio. So, like I said, it's that's your debt,
Yeah, you just got to pay it.
So,
Pay it.
yeah, so like the IDR, the income driven repayment plan, is one option, and then there's also the public service loan forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone does have some goals, like say, for example, they have like a $80,000, student loan and they're trying to look for a house, sometimes those restrictions of that debt to income ratio, if you're not making, so maybe you might need to get a second job
Right.
so you can increase your debt to income ratio, or you
Right.
can, level it out a little bit more. Yeah. So, and then also like with, savings, I know this is a little bit off, but like savings, taking advantage of high yield savings accounts so you can start building your savings quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Using I like to use with my clients a 50-30-20 budgeting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And have you heard of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was about to say it's very popular, but if people don't know, it's like 50% of your income goes to needs, 30% wants, 20% savings.
Right.
So maybe you need to start building, when you use that and you look at where your savings is, maybe your savings is only at like 2%. Maybe you can say, it's okay to start off low. It's more about consistency when it comes to savings. But if you're able to, if you look at those percentages and you're like, wait a minute, I could do more than 3%. Maybe I can do 5%. It doesn't have to be a whole 20%. I mean, great if you can do the 20% to start building your savings. But yeah, when it comes to debt to income ratio, that can be a hindrance. That can hinder people from maybe getting approved.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good programs out there for like first time home buyers that might work with you a little bit with that by looking at your income. Yeah. So
Okay, yeah, no, and thank you for just like going into that. I know just again that student loan is no joke, man. It's
yeah,
just like I can't even imagine like like people just get frustrated, like damn, bro, like I'm just burning the candle on both ends right here.
yeah. It is. It definitely is. And I do have some people that I know that were in the public service loan forgiveness, and they got their loans forgiven. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky. Loans for my sister, I told you, has been teaching
Yeah,
for 20 something. She got her loans forgiven like 2 years ago. And so, and then I had another friend who works in a nonprofit, and her loans were forgiven. And so then she was able to buy a house,
nice.
So that really helped. That
Look,
brought down
yeah,
her debt.
say, look, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like it just sucks, man, because and like it's just because it just starts from the college thing, man. It's like,
Yeah.
again, they were trying to give you a credit card then.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
that is, and like thank God
Thank
Obama just cut this, like
He
cut
did.
that out.
Yeah, he did.
Like yeah,
Real
because
quick.
these are
Yes.
18-year-olds that are like 90 grand in debt right now.
Yeah. And you're trying to give them a credit card?
Like,
And
what?
multiple credit cards.
Insanity. Like,
Yeah. And you thought my 3 credit cards were bad. My friend had 5 credit cards and maxed them all.
oh
maxed them all up. But she didn't.
yeah,
she
you
didn't
don't know no better. I mean, it's just
Don't-
it's just like damn, bro. Like
Yeah.
whew, I know you're a fan of I believe it's Suze Orman's podcast. You
Yes.
listen to her a lot.
Yeah.
Just like what about her, like, just like approach to finance or philosophy on it, like, do you appreciate?
You did your homework.
Yeah.
I haven't watched her podcast in a while, but I used
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
be really diligent in listening to it. I think like when she speaks, it's just a lot of logic about, and she's very truthful about like, okay, no, if this situation's happened, you don't need to do this.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I haven't watched her in a while, so
Sure.
caught me off guard on that one.
No, you're good.
But yeah, I really liked her logic of just approaching money and just being honest with with her audience about money. And yeah, so she also she does do a podcast, but she does a really good one with retirement as well, and how
Okay.
retirement is important.
Yeah.
Even at an early age. That's why I got, one of the reasons why I got my son that to get that IRA at an early age.
Oh, what I mean, like, and like, just like you even starting that account for him at 19 again is like he's gonna thank you just so much.
Yeah.
It's like, when he's older, and just like even on the topic, like, you said like it's never too late to start that.
It's not
that retirement account. So
Yeah.
if you just kind of want to go in and give a perspective on just how someone can start planning for retirement, and because being in the workforce. I mean, like I've been working like not 10 years yet, but like getting up to a decade here. But it's just you'd be surprised. Just like I remember I was working at a I temped a majority of the time, like once I graduated school.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had odd jobs here.
Yeah.
I mean, just
yes.
but like I was working for like a security company, and we would pretty much just like whenever like an alarm that they like had at a location went off,
Mm-hmm.
we would just like be like the dispatch center. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But not like the best paying job. I was like working for like 15 an hour. Granted, I was a temp.
Yeah.
Like I was making 15 an hour, but it was a dude there, man, and like he was late 50s, early 60s,
Mhm.
and just couldn't even think about retiring.
So sad.
And it's just it's
That's sad.
nuts. You know what I mean? So there's like I just feel like, and they just keep bumping that retirement age up,
Yeah.
just slowly. Like
Oh,
yeah,
you're gonna be like 80.
it's like
Where?
they just keep bumping it up, just like slowly, like by half a year, like
Yeah.
like ever so often. You know what I mean? But it's just like. Like I just would hate that for to be the reality just going into the future for people. You know what I mean? So it's like, what steps can people take? And just like what can they start doing?
So I know we said it's never too late, but the earlier the better.
Yesterday, right?
Yeah, the earlier
Time
the
to
better.
start,
So if
yeah.
you are, in your 20s, 30s, starting that as soon as possible. If your job offers a retirement, take advantage of that. If they
Yeah.
match, if they match 4%, 5%, match that.
Mhm.
So, take advantage of that free money. It's basically
Yeah,
free
right.
money that they're adding onto your retirement.
Yep.
Also getting an IRA. which is an individual retirement account, and
Yeah.
that is something that you contribute to. Your job
Yep.
doesn't contribute to that, and
Yep.
you can do up to like I think
7,000.
7,000 a
Yeah.
year. You can get, and I think if you're over a certain age, you can do more, a little bit more than 7,000. But those are some tactics that you can take. Also, even just taking advantage of different savings. Now, it's not a retirement account, but even if you're able to get like a CD,
Yeah.
certificate of deposit,
Yeah.
and you can take advantage of those fixed rates as opposed to the high yield savings, which is a variable rate. So that changes like when the federal rates change, the
Yeah,
high
right.
yield savings
Yep.
rate changes.
Yeah.
But with the CD, that's a fixed rate.
Okay.
But I would just say if first and foremost, if your job offers any type of retirement, it could be 401k or 403b. If you can contribute to it, do it. If they can match it, that's even better. And the earlier, the better.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Any like, I know like you said like you don't want to necessarily speak on apps, but like, do you think like there's any one like app or just like tool that can help people with this, or like should they just go to their bank and inquire? Or?
About like IRA?
Yeah.
Um, uh, I guess I would say, yeah, I don't want to.
Promote anyone.
Yeah, I mean, myself, I have Fidelity. I have
Too,
my
yeah,
IRA
yeah,
with Fidelity, and
yeah.
I've been pleased with
I think they're
it.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah,
they're great.
yeah, yeah.
I can't speak on any other ones.
Of course, yeah, right.
Well, I just don't know
Yeah,
about the
okay.
other retirements because we don't really talk about like that's an invest. It is still
Okay,
an
yeah, well,
investment
yeah,
account.
yeah, yeah. You're right, you're right.
It's
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah. Makes
investment
sense.
account.
Makes sense.
So I don't
Yeah.
really talk. I just kind of give them the tools, like maybe
Sure.
talk with your bank, or maybe look into Google.
Yeah,
Like
right,
you can
right.
Google like different IRAs. Another website that I do like to use is NerdWallet,
Oh,
which is really.
wait, that sounds familiar. I've
You've probably seen commercials because they have
yeah.
commercials for them.
Okay.
And they just give a lot of information about, I mean, just anything when it comes to finance.
Yeah.
And a lot of like education about like what is the difference between traditional and a Roth IRA.
Yeah,
What's
that's
the
crazy.
difference between, high yield savings and a CD? I mean, they talk like, what are the steps you need to take to buy a house? What are the steps you need to take to buy a car?
Yeah.
And then now it is still a website that makes money, so they are going to advertise, different companies. But one thing I do like a lot is just the education that they give people,
man. Yeah.
and they update it,
That's
a lot.
valuable, man.
Yeah, it is I love that website. So
Yeah.
if I can give one out, I'll give that one out, and then of course like those federal agency websites.
Yeah,
too.
nice. Shout out to NerdWallet.
Mhm.
So like again, your job is your job for sure. What do you do outside of your job? Like, what do you like to do? Do you have any hobbies, interests? Like, what do you like to get into?
Yeah. So I do, like I said, I do tutor. I mean, that is a paying job, so I guess that's work too. But I do tutor, reading. Spending time with my children.
Of course, yeah.
I have three kids. My two oldest ones are 19 and 20, and then I have my 11-year-old. So,
Wow, okay.
just spending time with my children. What else do I do? I to be honest, sometimes I like binge watching things.
Yeah. Are you watching anything lately? What you watching right now?
Oh my gosh. What am I not watching? Let's see. What am I watching right now that's good? Okay, I don't want to talk about the Ratchet TV I watch. Okay, so I'm just not gonna talk about
Yeah.
I like a lot of like murder mysteries.
Okay.
I love Dexter.
Okay. Did you see their
All of them.
bringing back though? Okay, copy. Okay,
I've
got
watched. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of that.
You ever watch How to Get Away with Murder?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good too.
Oh,
yeah,
man, that's
very
a good one. That's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So doing that, spending time with friends.
Yeah.
I just started because I kind of stopped because I was just like, I'm just so busy, but reading. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, reading.
Anything in particular? Like is it in the finance world or just like this?
No, it's not in the finance world. It's actually, and I'm trying to think of the title of it because it's like it's blank in my head. It was actually written 100 years ago, and
Wow.
it's like, I have to look it up, but it's something. Can't remember, but it's basically about like just finding happiness.
Okay.
And even though it was written in 1920, I'm gonna find the name of it.
Yeah.
But
It just like still applies, you think?
Yeah, wait, the I can't remember the name of
Yeah.
it, but basically it just tells you the keys of like just happiness and going for and having a positive attitude no
Yeah.
matter what you're facing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, I can't even believe this book was written 100 years
It's
ago,
crazy. Yeah.
1920.
Crazy.
That I can still relate to it now, with just like, just the everyday stress of things and just having that positive attitude, especially when it comes to money,
Yeah, man.
and I know
Yeah. Yeah.
nowadays a lot of people are stressed with money, and just how expensive everything is. I mean, even just to go to like McDonald's, you're spending
What?
$15
And it's like,
on.
yo, because like when I was a kid, man, parents are making these exclamations like, yo, why are eggs? Bada bada bada. Like, why is gas? And like,
Yeah.
it's just I have never said that more than it.
Now,
I'm
oh
just
my
like,
gosh.
yo, why
Yeah.
eggs?
Literally $7, $8.
I'm like, yo.
And I remember my parents would say, when I was your age, and I tell my kids, like, when I was your age, do you know how much a McDonald's meal? It was like $3, less
They
than
got
$5.
rid of the dollar menu.
Yeah, they
It's
did.
not even.
Yeah, this doesn't even exist
If I
anymore.
can't spend $1 at McDonald's, where can
Yeah.
I spend a
I know,
dollar at? Like,
nowhere,
what?
nowhere. Yeah, they did used to have that dollar amount. All of them got rid of them.
Oh my gosh,
So
man.
yeah,
I don't even know what world we're living in with no dollar menu, man. That's just, I don't know, man. I'll try to make sense of that later. But
yeah,
Jennifer, thank you so much for coming through. I know you're a
me.
busy woman. So again, we thank you for taking the time. This is
Absolutely.
just the point of the pod where, if you have anything to offer, or like just like any last words, or just like
Yeah.
where people can find you, please, the floor is yours. But thank you so much for coming through, taking the time.
Thank you
Absolutely,
for
absolutely.
having me. I guess I'll just look at the camera.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, all you.
So basically it's just good to, it's okay to talk about money. It's okay to, and it's important to look at your credit report. It's important to know where your money's going.
Yep.
And if you ever need help or assistance with understanding anything, or with, getting resources and working, specifically on your budget and specifically on your credit, you can reach out to the Financial Empowerment Center, Allegheny County Financial Empowerment Center. And again, you don't have to pick me as a counselor. There's 5 of us, and we all have our bios in there. So maybe you might find another counselor that, may work for you, or maybe I might be able to as well. But yeah, so it's okay to talk about money. That's pretty much my last
Beautiful. And
message.
I don't know why you wouldn't go with Jennifer as a financial, counselor, man. But listen, MIC podcast episode 186, where everyone is master of their own creation. The amazing Jennifer Nanji in the building. And we're out, bro. Peace.